Warning: the stories in this podcast contain depictions of violence and suggestive themes. Listener discretion is advised. Welcome back to the Baseline Feed podcast, where we exist as a platform for new writers, voice actors, and producers to express their creative side. This week, we're presenting a story written by Mark Towse, where a man has an opportunity to finally finish his collection of retro video games. But a blast from the past sets him back on his heels. Friends from the past don't always make happy returns.
Will you do it? I really don't want to go in.
No way. It's you she likes. She'd never hand it over to me anyway.
Please? I'll do anything you ask. Anything!
No cheese, Paul. You're the 45-year-old with a penchant for kids' video games. This is on you.
Lib smiles and winks at me. Some might describe the lady Rachel, who works there, as flamboyant. But I'd call her damn right terrifying. She's the gatekeeper, though, standing between me and Star Wars on the Atari, the piece de resistance for my retro video game collection. While I was grocery shopping, she called the house, insisting it was only me she could speak to when Lib answered the phone. And when I finally summoned up the courage to ring her back, she told me I needed to pop in if I wanted the big news. This will be the fourth time she's brought me here. The others all wild goose chases. Just updates on when it might finally arrive. But I know it's here this time. My senses are tingling. 3 months ago I ordered it. 3 months! But I still can't find it anywhere online. Nobody else is selling it. Of course, why would they? She kept me talking for 115 minutes last time. That's 114 minutes longer than I feel comfortable talking to anyone. Never mind that crazy bitch. I'll pay you. It's a half-hearted effort. I know she's going to enjoy this far beyond monetary compensation. The storefront to the 80s Emporium initially filled me with awe and wonder. But as soon as I stepped foot through the door and saw her pudgy face, my heart sank. I pushed the door inward, the sound of the alert chime making my skin prickle, and the stale smell of the unwashed immediately fills my nostrils. Fuckity fuck. There she is, leaning against the counter as though expecting me. Head to toe in polka dots, and a big pink ribbon in her hair. Her orange lipstick and eyeshadow remind me of Top of the Pops, but not in a good way, not in a Cyndi Lauper way. She's chewing ferociously on some gum as if it owes her money, and against the bland backdrop of the shop in the bright yellow dress, she looks like a cartoon figure photoshopped onto a black and white photo. The gum comes out as soon as she spots me.
Here he is!
Hey, Rachel?
1 minute.
Her sharpness catches me off guard, but not as much as it does Bugs Bunny.
Jeez, you get all sorts in here.
She made her way towards the poor boy, the sound of her thighs rubbing together. No consolation for leaving the store empty-handed. Lib mouthed something outside the window. Something about apricots? As Rachel nears the other side of the store, beyond the huge cardboard promotion of Rocky IV, I stealthily sneak behind the counter. The bright spark has left the keys near the register. Am I really going to do this? Yes, I fucking am. Holding my breath, I wrap my fingers around the chain and gently slide the keys off the edge. One by one, I begin trying the drawers. Come on. Come on. The first three are crammed with stationery, manuals, and chocolate wrappers. But in the fourth, slipped inside a plastic sheet, initialed with the letters AW, I find my trophy. You're fucking kidding me. Hands beginning to shake, I reach for the prize. An almost euphoric sensation riding through my body as I wrap my fingers around it. Finally, it's mine. In my hands after 3 long months of dealing with that crazy psycho bitch. The song Sweetest Victory plays in my head, but I only get halfway through the second line before hearing the rattling breathing from behind. Oh, shit.
Paul!
It's unfathomable to me how she got back so quickly, especially after watching her waddle away across the carpet. Is there some secret fucking portal inside the store? Her breathing accelerating, she begins drumming her fingers across the countertop. But I don't want to let go. It's been a monumental weight.
Put it back, Paul!
Her quick command sprayed spittle across the back of my neck. But it's mine.
Everyone out of the shop now!
The meek and mild turn, their pale faces even more translucent.
Move it! Not you, Polly,
she says, crouching down and tenderly stroking my left cheek.
We've a birthday party to attend.
It's just her and me. The impossibly loud breathing and the big hand on my cheek. Jesus, that hand.
Oh, Paul, this will be such a special day.
What are you doing? Soon it's pitch black, the only sound of her approaching breathing giving away her location. With the plastic folder still in my grip, the excitement of finding it long gone, I hold my breath. The gasping stops, deafening silence accentuating the rapid pulse in my ear. Rachel? I step back, only to find her fat shell waiting for me like a hard mattress.
Boo!
She says, wrapping a fleshy arm around my waist, her other hand cupping my mouth. I try to break free, but she's so damn strong and slippery. Before I know it, she's dragging me towards the back of the store, my feet slaking across the cheap carpet, my cries absorbed by the massive hand engulfing my mouth and nostrils like a facehugger from the Alien film. As I continue my struggle amid the moving swamp of toxic perfume, I feel her hot breath against my neck, and I hear the click of a door. I'm being dragged into a different room, dim, but at least some light emanating from the half-dozen televisions scattered around the various shelving units. Some of my favorite old game consoles are attached. a heaven and hell situation because I can't fucking breathe. Shallow beeps fill me with nostalgia, a reminder of simpler days when time seemed infinite and I wasn't being hauled around by a 300-pound maniac.
Here we go.
She kicks the door shut behind us.
This is a bit more intimate, isn't it, Polly?
I flail at her arms, gagging at the taste of her sweat. But my attempts are futile. Her strength and slipperiness making it a one-sided battle. I try again, working on the hand covering my face, but her vice-like grip is stubbornly attached. I feel lightheaded. I can't get any air. I bring my elbow into her stomach, but my arm bounces off. I kick her hard in the shin with the back of my heel, but nothing. Offering a desperate, muffled howl, I stomp my foot down onto her toes, but there's no cry of pain, no release of her grip, her fat suit seemingly impenetrable. Feeling the wave of black approaching, I begin to flail aimlessly, but my blows feel weak, only creating a soft slapping sound against her flesh. Nearly at my limit, the situation's absurdity is not lost as I continue the struggle for air, but the world is sliding away, and this is one boss fight that I'll not... Christ, my fucking head.
Now we can talk without her watching. We can take our time, Polly.
Hearing her speak in such a tone removes the luxury of a nightmare. I look down to see my hands tied in front of me, bound to the chair's arms and legs with a multicolored scarf. It's all very surreal and unnerving, but all I can think is, that is one ridiculously long scarf. Rachel sits in front of me, like a chubby baby inflated to an incredulous size. As my eyes begin to adjust, I take in the rest of our surroundings. The posters are new. Breakfast Club, Back to the Future, Aliens, and Stand By Me. A ghetto blaster plays faintly in the background. Who is that? Bon Jovi? I fucking hate Bon Jovi, but I doubt she's taking requests. What are you doing, Rachel? Are you fucking nuts? And as soon as the words leave my lips, I realized I've made a huge faux pas by questioning the sanity of a maniac. She gives me a look that satisfies my curiosity, one which suggests try me. Just try me.
Would you prefer I phone the police, Polly? Told them I caught you stealing?
But you didn't. It never left the premises, Rachel. I give her my best puppy dog eyes. Look, whatever this is really about, I'm sure we can discuss it like civilized people. Sit down. Let's chat. It's a hell of a situation, no doubt. Boil your bunnies type stuff. But I must take control. Why didn't you tell me that it came in? How long have you had it? She smiles before blowing a huge pink bubble covering most of her face. It pops, ending my temporary reprieve, and I'm left watching her peel it away from her cheeks and nose, finally poking it back into her mouth with her sausage fingers.
What do you want to play, Polly? You choose first.
Something is missing upstairs or broken. Her big leg bounces up and down, and her eyes sparkle as though we're on our first date. What is this, Rachel?
This, Polly, is our first proper date. We have so much in common.
She shuffles in closer.
It was only a matter of time. I think we both know that. I've heard your girl whining on. She thinks you're immature, a nerd. What do you see in her anyway?
Well, she's never choked me out for one, Rachel. It's a little bit forward if you ask me.
What about Pac-Man?
Rachel, you need to let me go.
Paul, if you think you are ever going to see that bitch again, you are mistaken. You belong here with me. This is 1985 and we're going to rock and roll.
She begins swaying in her seat to Bryan Adams, mouthing the words with tremendous commitment. Rachel, you're fucking loco. Let me go. Now!
Polly, you can't speak to the birthday girl like that. Now be a good boy, please.
As she gets up from the seat and walks to the far wall, I try to wrestle free, but the knot has been tied tightly under the chair and I can hardly move.
Do you like it, Paul? The scarf? I've been working on that since you came in all of them weeks ago.
My heart rate is going for it now, my stomach churning. I have a momentary sensation of falling, an image filling my mind of plummeting down a cliffside, only to land on Rachel and bounce back up again, like from an episode of a Roadrunner cartoon.
Guess how old I am today, Polly?
I knew she was strange, but this is taking things to a whole new level. She has all the control, let's make no mistake, and God knows where she's taking us.
Go on, guess.
I've thought about that before, her age, and I've absolutely no idea. It could be anywhere from 25 to 50. Her skin is stretched with no signs of wrinkles, but an abundance of bright makeup and rouge covers most of her face, possibly disguising the cavities. I don't know. 35?
Nope, I'm 45, Polly, just like you.
I wonder what Lib's doing. If she's still standing outside or if she's gone for help. I can't hear any sirens, though. Christ. She's most likely as perplexed as I am.
You still don't remember me? After all this time, all our chats, you still don't remember? That upsets me, Polly. Makes me real sad.
And there it is, like some cheesy plot from an 80s film. Someone I wronged at some point has just now decided to get their vengeance, letting the resentment build up over time until it's ready to erupt. And today's the day. But I don't remember wronging anyone. Not in a way that would justify being tied to a chair with a homemade scarf. She's busy in the corner, but I can't see clearly, her midriff blocking what her hands are doing. Is she getting some contraption to teach me a lesson? Electric shock treatment? Pliers? Old school torture methods flash in my head like sets from a grindhouse movie of yesteryear.
Happy birthday to me. Happy birthday to me. Happy birthday, dear Rachel. Happy birthday to me. Hip, hip.
She nods toward me, beaming, holding the cake like a trophy, the flames of the candles perfectly straight. Fuck off! The smile she carries fades quickly and momentarily. She looks like she might cry, lips quivering and eyes moist. She places the cake down on a chair and picks out one of the candles.
That's not nice, Poo-Poo, Polly.
The wax is lost between her fat fingers, making it look like as though her hand is on fire.
Hip, hip.
Yeah, I see your massive hips. Now let me the fuck go! She plants her face close to mine and inhales me.
I smell it, Polly. Your fear, your excitement.
She brings her tongue across my right cheek, and I snap my head back and spit in her face. I regret it immediately, a shudder running down my spine as I watch the congealed spit sliding down her orange skin, her nostrils flaring. Before I know it, my head is being pushed back against the chair, and her fingers are prying open my eyelids as the dirty halogen light on the ceiling comes into my eye line. I struggle, letting out a garbled croak, but her vice-like grip holds my head in place. Helplessly, I watch her raising the candle above my head.
Hip, hip!
Once again, I struggle against her and the scarf, but to no avail. Hooray! I'm finally conceded as she tilts the candle. But it's too late. The wax sizzles in my eyes, causing delayed but searing pain. Fuck! You fucking bitch! You fucking fucker! It's intense, overwhelming. My teeth clench together so tightly that it feels like they may shatter. I can taste metal at the back of my mouth. My already pounding head feels like it might explode. But I've no choice but to ride it out. That awful fizzling sound forever engraved in my head.
Good boy. But we need to work on that potty mouth, don't we?
The chair moans as she retakes her place.
12 candles. I'm 12 now, Polly. And so are you. You came to my party. Do you still not remember?
She's asking me to remember something 3 decades ago. Sometimes I forget to flush. I feel impossible pressure, knowing there'll be consequences if I don't figure this out. Perhaps more wax in the eye, or even worse, another lick. Think, Paul. Think. And the penny drops. Rachel Stevens? She nods and smiles that smile, eyes twinkling again, cheeks blushing. But she was always so skinny, tiny. I always thought she was cute. I think we even kissed that day after I told Tommy Denbar that I liked her, and he told her friend. I don't remember her friend's name, but she always smelt poor.
That was the best day of my life, Paul.
She blows out the candle, covering the cake with a generous amount of drool.
My wish already came true,
she says, offering a wink and placing her jumbo hand across both of mine. There's a pang of pity for her, but I need to get out of this. God knows what she has planned for me. For us. Come on, Rachel, just untie me. We'll have a nice, old-fashioned chat. Shoot the breeze. Chew the... Without all this, I offer the puppy dog eyes again, hoping for more success. Perhaps we can even have a couple of games on the machines. But let me go, please. She looks at me with a pity that unnerves me, continuing the stare for an uncomfortable amount of time.
Kiss me again, Polly.
She finally says, removing the gum. Still no fucking sirens. No pounding on the shutters. She purses her bulbous lips together and moves in close. Fuck my life. Her clammy face hovers in front of mine, eyes closed, spearmint and sweat permeating the air between us. I consider lashing out, but I'm not fond of the eye wash she uses. With no choice, I scrunch my eyes together and push my lips out as far as possible, ensuring the maximum distance between the rest of us is maintained. Slowly, I bring my lips towards hers. Our mouths touch briefly, but before I can sink back, her hand wraps around the back of my head, and her tongue thrusts into my mouth, squirming like a huge worm in its final throes of death. Fuck! No part of my mouth is left unexplored. I want to gag. This is not okay. I bite down hard on her tongue, prompting a shriek and a bolt of pain on my right cheek. My ears ring, my vision obscured by black dots as though her polka dots have launched into the air. She growls, pulling her fist back and waving an extended finger on her other hand. I can't hear what she's saying above the ringing, only catching the words, "Done it now," as it finally ceases. She dabs her fingers in her mouth and brings them out, glistening in watery blood.
This is my friggin' birthday!
Cheeks, now as red as beetroot. She runs at me like a bull, the floor vibrating. Pens to my left rattling on the table. I brace for impact, but it doesn't help. My head slams against the floor and sets my internal phone ringing again. Rachel lets out a deep moan, but otherwise seems fine, cushioned by the fat. She pushes herself up, and with the impressive speed akin to a high school wrestler, she's on top of me. Sweat from her forehead splashes onto mine, and there's a sinister unpredictability behind her eyes.
Polly, can't you see we belong together?
I turn my face away, noticing the chair on its side, and realization kicks in that I'm no longer bound to it. If I can just get my hands free, but they're also hostage in this degrading debacle. Offering a groan, I try and elevate my hips, but it's like being pinned under a truck. Continuing to fight, I let out a war cry. more of a Rambo on helium whale. And this time, in the throes of passion, she gives me too much space, and I manage to get to my side with my hands out in front. With another huge roar, I bring them together against the side of her head as hard as I can. Finally, she's off. But it was only a glancing blow. And now we're racing to get to our feet. I'm first, but there's no time for celebration as I run towards her, bringing my knee into her chest. Hardly a flicker from her. Why would I think that's a weak spot? This is not a video game. She pulls back an arm, bingo wings pendulating, and a swing and a miss. Too slow, Jumbo. As she stumbles forward, I pick up the first thing I see on the table. She turns around, lips curled into a snarl. "Fuck you, Rachel!" I scream, thrusting the cake into her face. I've always wanted to do that. It looked like fun. I'm not having fun. She wraps the fingers of her right hand around my throat, pinning me against the wall. Cake slides down both sides of her face and falls onto her impossibly large shoulder pads. The rest remains stuck to her face and hair. She scoops some of it from her eyes with her left hand and slides it into her mouth. Waste not, want not. Instinctively, I kick out, landing one in her you-know-what. She yelps and staggers back. Weak spot! A fucking weak spot! I run at her again, attempting the same kick, but she blocks it this time, so I push a finger into her eye, an eye for an eye. Why can't I see a back door? Don't all these places have back doors? Finally, as she lumbers this way and that, one hand over her eye, I manage to work myself free from the scarf, and now it's a fair game. I see scissors on the table next to me, but this battle must be weapons-free and honorable, like the show of mutual respect at the end of the movie Predator, until the glorified pig sets the timer for his self-destruction, of course.
It's my birthday! I just wanted one special day!
And there it is again. Empathy. Why do I have to be such a nice guy? Kidnapping and rape aren't the usual activities for a birthday party, Rachel. Some friends, a few beers, and music is general go-to. Perhaps Twister at a push, but that's as raunchy as it gets.
People only see the smile I wear, Polly. They always assume, oh, good old bubbly Rachel. But you can't judge a book by its cover, can you, Polly?
She sticks her lip out again, moving her stare to the ground, tears spilling down her cheeks.
Nobody could begin to guess what I've been through. I've held on to that kiss for years, Polly. It got me through some horrific times, and I just wanted that day back to leave this world that little bit happier.
I try to imagine how horrendous a life must be to hold on to a memory that would appear so insignificant to anyone else. And what does she mean by leave this world that little bit happier? Christ, I'm not a fucking therapist. I don't know her story. And selfishly, I don't want to. All I know is I need to get out of this joint and quickly. I'm sorry, Rachel. Some people get a bum deal. It's a bit of a lottery like that. This life. I take my opportunity, sensing the softening. Let's walk out together. Talk about it over coffee. Yeah? The knock at the door startles us both.
Paul?
What the fuck? How? As Rachel scrambles backwards, her face hardens. Lib, run! But the door's already opening, her face emerging, wide eyes searching the room. I make my run, but I'm too late. Only able to watch as Rachel grabs a handful of Lib's hair and brings her down to the floor. Another comical war cry leaves my lips as I launch myself towards Rachel. Pushing her against the wall, I hit her in the face until my hand hurts. But now it's her turn. Catching me square on the jaw, I fall back, tripping over Lib, the back of my head slamming against the ground. Michael J. Fox staring down at me with a smug look of fame and youth. I'm really starting to go off the 80s. As I squirm on the ground, Rachel brings her foot into Lib's mouth, snapping her head around and sending saliva spraying from her lips, much like a Rocky film, but without the dubbed effects. Lib's cheek connects with the carpet, her eyes on me as the birthday girl drops on top of her. Fuck this! I scramble to my feet and run at her again. It's tempting to go in with a flying kick, but I'm not fucking Bruce Lee. Jesus Christ, what the fuckity fuck is that? Lamely, I continue my charge, but she's ready for me. I see a flicker of color and... Fuck! Rubik's Cube! Right on the bridge of my nose! That's your lot! I scream, launching into a dive towards my enemy. But I'm not fucking Superman either. My effort falling well short, my hands only finding her breasts. At least, I think that's what they are. I squeeze hard, and for the first time some pain registers on her face.
Yes, Polly, yes!
This is one screwed up chick. I continue to pinch as hard as I can, but it only seems to work her up further. Beneath us, Lib offers a series of groans, her face twisting and contorting as she tries to wiggle out. But unless she starts turning green, she has no chance. Rachel reaches her hand out, covering my face with it, a thick finger sliding its way into my mouth. I bite down hard. She squeals. Taking the opportunity, I move behind her, wrapping my elbow around her large neck and starting to choke the motherfucker. I try to drag her off Lib, but I get nowhere fast. Fucking psycho bitch! A watery gurgle begins to emerge from Rachel's throat, her arms flailing blindly behind her. Just as I think I have the upper hand, she tilts her head forward and brings it back against my nose, prompting a flash of light and intense pain. She's away, somehow on her feet, staggering towards the table where the scissors are. I try and grab her cankle, but it slips through my grip. Keen to get Lib to safety, I thread my arms through her shoulders and heave her towards the door, blood falling from my nose onto her favorite white t-shirt. Hopefully there'll be an opportunity for her to forgive me. Rachel's already on her way back, weapon in hand. Go, Lib! I scream, stepping out between them. Charging towards us, Rachel froths at the mouth, scissors pulled back behind her right shoulder. She growls, bringing them down towards my neck, but I shimmy to the right, sending her stumbling forward towards Lib. Not my best plan. Just as Lib's almost through the door, Rachel grabs her t-shirt and swings the scissors towards her arm. Lib shrieks and stumbles free, slamming the door shut behind her.
It was supposed to be you and me, frozen in time. We would die here together, holding hands.
The yellow polka dot dress doesn't look as innocent anymore. Streaks of crimson running down the side. Happy fucking birthday. In the background, Tina Turner's going for it, singing about not needing another hero. I beg to differ. Can't imagine she would have pictured such a scene during that recording session. Final round. Rachel wipes her forehead with the back of her hand. It's on. She comes at me, swinging the scissors from left to right, but she doesn't know about the magic 8-ball I picked up from the desk. Got to time this just... now! I surprise myself with accuracy, the ball finding the dead center of her forehead. She stops in her tracks, eyes wide, mouth agape, and I can imagine the sound of birds tweeting as they circle her head. She wavers a little before finally falling to the ground in a heap, blood beginning to pour from the wound. Is she out? But in a remarkable display of resilience I must admire, she brings the scissors down onto my right foot. Thank whoever it was for Doc Martens. Emitting a series of groans, she managed to get to her elbows. What is this? Rocky 3? But I'm out of patience now. This bitch has had her fun. I reach for the television on the shelf. Rear projection, only just catching it with my knee as it slips from my hands. What a day. Muscles strained as I turn, watching Rachel coming back to life. The magic 8-ball on the carpet next to her, displaying the words, "Yes, definitely." And with that, I bring the monstrosity down onto her head. Happy birthday to you, bitch. I've never hit someone with a television set before. The noise it makes is lackluster, almost anticlimactic, but the movement from my nemesis underneath is certainly limited. I'd give it a 6 out of 10, marked down for its cumbersome size.
I love you, Polly.
A groan comes from the television set.
He said I could never have a boyfriend. He didn't want to share.
And there ends the transmission. Adrenaline shudders out my body, but I keep an eye on her even as I double over, trying to get some air back into my lungs. I've seen too many smug heroes get their comeuppance, but she remains still, and I feel far from being a hero. Lib, it's safe now. Slowly, the door opens, and she tentatively steps into the makeshift coliseum, gasping at the devastation. Around her wound is a faded old doubled-over 80s headband.
Is she dead?
I don't know. I think she might be. Are you okay?
No. I've been stabbed.
Yes, of course. Sorry.
It's not as bad as it looks, just a lot of blood.
How did you get in anyway?
When the others came out, I sneaked in and hid behind Rocky. It was stupid, I know, but I don't know what was going on. Then I heard banging and shouting and I didn't know what to think.
Did you call the police?
Only after the bitch stabbed me. I'm sorry, Paul, I didn't know what...
It's okay, Lib. It's okay. But this shit show is far from it. What if they don't believe me? Shit. I just killed someone with a TV.
I found this on the counter. It was next to a stack of invoices.
The color of the old Polaroid photo is slightly washed out, but I see Rachel standing proudly in a tiny yellow dress speckled with black polka dots. Her face so pale apart from the dark smudge monopolizing the right side of her face. The image unlocks memories. I remember her telling me she fell off her scooter, and there I am, awkwardly standing next to her in an oversized pair of Doc Martens. We're both wearing party hats, standing in front of a table full of cake and unwrapped presents. Our hands locked together, our eyes red from the camera flash. I recognize the man at the side of the photograph as Rachel's father. He isn't smiling, though. In fact, his lips appeared to be curled into an almost snarl. His only visible eye is red, which is strange as he's not even facing the camera. Turning the photograph over, I see something scrawled in the top right-hand corner. Daddy's Girl, 1985, 12. I look back at Rachel's lifeless body sprawled across the floor. She was my first kiss. We both stand looking at her as Every Breath You Take plays ironically in the background. The 80s can go fuck itself. Game over.
Happy Returns was written by Mark Towse. Paul, was played by SigCorps. Rachel was played by Katherine Via. Lib was played by Jessica Bryant-Clack. Sound design and episode artwork were by Tanner Wood. If you would like to have a short story that you've written featured here on the BLF podcast, please take a second to visit our website at baselinefeed.com. There, you can see our open submissions form with what kind of stories we're looking for Season 4. Be sure to check out the link in the show notes to our Discord server where you can interact with the BLF directly and even get some inspiration to become a short story writer as well as a voice actor. We're always looking to support those who want to jump into the world of audio dramas. After all, that's what we're here to do. All the links you would ever need are in the show notes.